DA is calling on the Gauteng MEC for Cooperative Governance, that's Lebogang Maile, to ensure that government departments that owe money to municipalities pay up. The party says some municipalities cannot deliver basic services due to the debt that's owed to them. For more on this, let's bring in MEC Maile, who joins us via our video link this morning. It's great to have you on the program, sir. Thanks for your time and patience. And I'm sure something like this is not news to the Gauteng government. In fact, the DA knows of this because of a written response from your office. The question then becomes, what is being done to try and make sure that these municipalities have the money they need in order to perform the services that are needed?
Morning, and thanks for having me. I think the first thing is that it's an exaggeration to say that municipalities can't perform because they are owed money by government. It's an extreme exaggeration, because in the figures that we have released a month ago already, we indicate that the biggest debt to municipalities is by households, and the second biggest is by big companies, the private sector, and government is the last. So I must clarify that firstly. You see, the DA, I think, is just trying to be dramatic and to be relevant. They just need anything to say. So that's the first thing. But
just before you carry on, MEC, just so I make sure that we're all keeping up with you, I don't imagine you're suggesting that the money owed by government is negligible because of the trends you've pointed out.
Hang on. That's why I'm giving you figures now. Hang on. That money was last month already. Remember, in your household, you receive a statement on a monthly basis from the municipality, and that statement is not the same. It changes from time to time. So at the time we released the figures, which was last month or two months ago, the figure was sitting at that amount, 400 million plus. As I speak to you now, it has been reduced drastically because we pay on a monthly basis. So what the DA should have done, they should have asked me to give them the latest figure before they issued a statement, because that information, I released it. If you look at our press statement last month, I released the figure last month. So they are releasing a statement today or yesterday on information that they had last month. As I speak to you, because I asked for new figures, which they are verifying now, and we will issue a statement with the latest figures, but they're certainly not more than 400 million. We've drastically reduced that because we've got the debt management committee that meets quarterly, and we have even ring-fenced money for rates and taxes in our provincial treasury, because we are deliberate and we are clear that we should pay for the services that we receive from the what's called municipalities. So it's just an exaggeration.
Okay. To be fair, the DA does say in that statement that this is the figure as of the end of April this year, which coincides with what you're saying. What are the updated figures then?
I just said to you now, we will issue a statement today, this afternoon, on the recent figures, just to clarify that, because I saw few media houses are running with it as if we don't want to pay, one, and two, that amount is static. No, the amount changes from time to time. It might be 2 million tomorrow, it might be 500, depending on the consumption for that month. But the third issue is that the billing system of some of the municipalities is not accurate, and that's why some of the figures, we don't pay them not because we don't want to, but because they are not accurate, they are in dispute. There was an embarrassing situation when the seat of Tshwane switched off Gauteng, claiming that they are owing, when in fact Gauteng was not owing. I know there's an advance payment we've made, for instance, to Ekurhuleni. So there's no crisis in Gauteng in terms of government debt to municipalities. We manage it much better. There used to be problems many months ago, not now. So we must put it in context and clarify that there is no crisis at all. Because
okay.
The DA wants to create an impression that there's a crisis when there isn't.
it's difficult to push back against that in the context where you don't have the latest figures, so we don't even know whether or not. Let me finish. Let me finish, MEC. I mean, I've given you an opportunity.
But don't push the narrative. Don't misbehave, because now I'm giving you facts, and I'm giving you an example about your own personal belief. Go get your statement for last month and the previous months. It's not the same.
But
it's a simple explanation.
Your facts are incomplete if you don't have the exact figures in front of you, which is what I'm trying to get at.
So, we are releasing a statement today. As I'm speaking to you, and I said they must go and verify, the indicative figure is hovering around 7 million plus. But I want that information from the officials who are dealing with this so that they give you. So
7 million in total, you're saying?
No, hang on. You see now, don't be sensational. I'm saying to you, I'm getting the information. We will issue a comprehensive statement. Now you want me to give information in bits and pieces. What I wanted to explain now is that there is no crisis, because the DA statement tries to create an impression that there's a crisis, municipalities can't perform and all that. I gave you 3 different categories of debts. Households, which is the largest, private sector, and government. That's the first thing. The second thing, I explained to you how we are managing this debt. We are ring-fencing the amount. We've got a debt management committee that meets quarterly. But thirdly, the debt is paid on a monthly basis. So what is the problem?
Please allow me to finish my question, MEC.
Okay.
I hear that. You are saying there's no crisis, and what I'm pointing out to you is that we have nothing to go on that outside of your word. So in the absence of the latest figures, let's speak about this almost 450 million rand that was the debt that you agree was owed by the end of February. How did that amount accumulate to that point in a context where you feel that this debt management committee is working and is effective?
You see, firstly, you don't have a baseline. And you want to assume that our monthly bill is far less than that. We've got about 2,000 schools in Gauteng, for example, that consumes water, electricity. You've got hospitals. You've got government buildings. So our bill, it's not 500 rands. So if it's 400 million, we've paid over 12 billion, for instance. So look at it in context. We've paid about, and I released this figure. There was a press conference where we spoke about the state of municipalities. That's why on a quarterly basis we speak, we update the public about the state of municipalities. So that's the first thing. Don't create the impression that there's a crisis, a big amount. Yes, it's a lot of money.
Yes. But
when you look in context, we've paid over 12 billion to the municipalities. And secondly, I just said to you just now, that some of the figures are disputed because the billing is not accurate. I just said this now to you. Some of them are disputed. I just said to you now, we have paid a municipality like Ekurhuleni in advance at some point, because we don't have a problem of paying. We don't have a shortage of money to pay municipalities. So the money is there. It's ring-fenced by our provincial treasurer for every department. But if a municipality, because we can't just pay for services that are not rendered or for monies that are disputed. So it is also up to the municipalities to convince us that they are billing us correctly. Then we will pay. And that's what we have been doing.
All right.
There is no price.
Yeah, we're going to have to leave it there. Lebogang Maile, thanks very much indeed for your time. And I guess let's be fair about the pushing of narratives. If that was the case, we wouldn't have extended an invite to you to respond to the DA statement. But for now, let me thank you for honoring that invitation. Lebogang Maile is the Corporate Governance MEC in Gauteng.